you can build other things in it. And you'll know in the future why I said that, because that's great. I'm glad that folks are recognizing what you can kind of build into a call it like a level, right? In that you can have these like really intricate spaces that feel like they go off way into the distance, but they don't have to, because there's enough to see and do in the area. I love how the rocks are where they're at and the spacings. It's really nice.
So
Yes, thank you.
Tokyo,
Oh,
I'm wearing the bubble on my face. What, did you see it? Do you see this?
yeah, I see it. I was just about to say that. I see the bubble. That's a Morphe question. I think maybe you are having this special bubble over your head to get special kind of air or something. But yeah, that's the new thing. But the way you're holding the bag is cute. Look at 90 Ghost. Yeah, guys, definitely come in, get your fits, look
Riding around in the car makes for
exquisite.
a good video as well too. I
Yeah.
make all the carousel videos and stuff, and it's I can already see shots, right? I see shots in here I want to get.
Yes, the car was one of the first few things that I've done last month. It was modeled out, and originally I wanted to really look like a very cyborgy space pod thing, but it ended up working out. It looks like it's kind of like a Back to the Future type of car, but I love the way it glows and it looks, and yeah, so they did a great job making sure we could ride in it. That's what I wanted, to feel like we could ride in there.
Yeah, it's good. I like this. Oh yeah, I mean it's really great camera shots that you can get.
And the men's outfit, I think my favorite outfit is, well, it's not even unlocked yet. So uh, when that one gets unlocked, oh, actually it is. It's Artemis and Zev. Those are my favorite outfits. And Zev, I think Ludi already got his, but you can get Zev for I think 4.99 in spatial coins. And
Oh,
the other outfits you can get by collecting the coins, like Xena and Magnus. But Zev, that one's hard because he has those lightning effects all around him. That's the first men's outfit, and I've always been promising everybody, like, I'm gonna have menswear, and finally have a menswear, and Morphe was able to put that together nicely for him. So yeah, that was definitely
yeah.
Morphe getting those effects in there.
Yep, the lighting on the black sand. Love it. Just stay right where you're at, 9D Coast and Era. Flying in with the camera. Just stand where you're at. Okay. This is a really good shot.
90 Ghost got this dress yesterday.
I know.
Nobody else can get this dress anymore because it's not on the list right now. But he's loving it.
It's awesome. I love it. Hold on, I'm trying to get this shot.
Cece, you've got to get your dress.
How do I get the dress?
Do the challenge and open the shop, and with the coins that you collect from the challenge, you can get the dress.
All right, I've got 8 coins.
You've got to get more.
Yeah.
The coins
Get
are definitely
more.
well hidden. Definitely well hidden.
Oh, okay. Well, then I guess I gotta go find them.
Yeah, this is cool. Yeah, so that's one of the things that the UGC, user generated content, right? It's what's happening, it's what people are doing, and there's so many different versions popping up, and I see like all the potential. I'm happy because as we progress with what we want to deliver for the platform, I see that you're going to be able to grab things out of what we release and put them into your spaces to add that next level of interactivity, and immersion. Yeah, the idea of being able to run around quickly and do things and interact with stuff, and yeah, it's fun. It's nice to have like objects that fly around. Imagine, just having to cast a spell at something, or to, flick your finger and something happens out in the distance. It's the little things that you see is like the next level. Being able to come into a space with powers and auras and then start to use them. Leave it open so somebody can use their ability to jump 40 feet into the air or whatever it may be. I just see a lot of opportunities to take it's like containers out of the environments and just move them into others. And now you can do this or that. So they'll love it. Great job. Share it out. We'll see who else joins. Right on. Gosh, what else went on this week? I was pretty much out of it this week. But again, the tutorial is in the Discord. Hawa is posting it to YouTube, and she'll tweet out a link to the actual YouTube video where you can watch this tutorial on how to quickly just create a skybox in a regular spatial space with one of the custom blockade labs, so you can actually enter into the contest by Friday noon next week. Looking forward to seeing what people's prompts turn into. Yeah, I see Altru's here. Happy Friday. Cece, how are you doing?
I'm doing great. I just got the Xena avatar.
Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, I got to get out of camera here and play with that, but then I wouldn't be able to talk.
Oh no.
Yay.
Yeah, so now I want to put it on. I'm gonna check it out. Oh, shoo! I'm not gonna lie. She looks cute. Oh my God. Who wore it best? Cece wore it best. Holy mother,
Right?
check her out. Look at this. I'm the cutest. Oh, I gotta take a picture.
That's great.
Oh
Yeah.
my goodness.
From
Doing great. So we're having a little get together for Josh tomorrow in the Emerald Palace. We're gonna do a spicy DJ set.
okay.
So that's gonna be fun. Not safe for tiny ears, so don't bring the kids. Yeah.
Okay. Got it.
Yeah, I'm sharing that to the space. And yeah, just to say happy birthday to Josh and thank him for kicking butt and helping us onboard Raftsby and the Beast into the metaverse. So we're really excited for that.
Okay. Nice.
Yeah, and then what else is going on?
Sunday is
Oh,
Anand's birthday, the CEO of Spatial. So if anybody
oh, I
wants to
guess we
throw
should
tag
throw
amongst
him
them.
a little cake or something. Maybe we get together.
Right? Tag him.
Oh, Ira, I just thought about your birthday balls. Yeah, something. I just thought
Yes,
about Ida's birthday
I
balls.
have them. I'm coming. I'm bringing the dances, the balls, the spicy dances. Yeah.
Oh, I love
Oh,
it.
All
The
kinds of
birthday
spice.
balls. Yeah. Really excited for Monday. We're racing for digital pink slips. Thank you, Altered. Um,
I heard, yeah, it's
yeah.
on with the Spatian guides, right?
Yeah, Station Guide. So I've been telling everybody in DCL because DCL doesn't have cars yet.
Yeah.
And so everybody is like, oh, we're gonna race. So hopefully the DCL piece will show up and show out and we'll have a good little bit of like fun on Monday. So that's exciting.
Okay, so what you
Um,
can do, here's what I'll tell you,
mm,
if you want.
give it to
So
me.
whittle it down so we can have the actual, let's call it like a rerun or like a race off or whatever. You do this, and now there's going to be some sort of rivalry that's going to come out of this. But we're going to hard launch Racing Empire, and that's when we'll put it up on the carousel and everything like that. I totally want there to be another race that coincides with that hard launch, because we'd love to
Okay.
show it off. Like, get
So we'll
in
have the
here.
prelims on Monday and then hard launch, we'll have the finals.
Or no, like whoever wins that, right? Whoever wins amongst the guides, then that's who everyone's going to be gunning for when we hard launch it.
Oh, snap. Oh, man, this is getting brutal. I'm just here
Yep,
to have fun,
dethrone.
man. I'm just here. The Meta Queen just wants to have fun.
It's a race. What is it? If you aren't first, you're last.
Yeah. Okay. What
Right.
movie?
Second
What?
place is the first loser.
Oh my God, what movie is that? That's the one with what's his
Oh,
face?
that was Talladega Nights,
Oh,
right?
Talladega
If you ain't
Nights.
first, you're
Yeah, Ricky
last.
Bobby.
Ricky Bobby, shake and bake.
Shake and bake. Oh my God. Oh, I got some really cool news. So in other news,
Hmm.
um, my beautiful NFTs are going to be featured on Magic Eden. So that's cool.
Okay,
So
that is cool.
I know we're not like NFT related, but that means the Emerald Palace will be sort of like featured there because that's where I tell people to go to look at my art is my digital gallery. So
Right, right. I
yeah.
know. I've gotten away from that myself. I should do it more. It's just, yeah,
Yeah, oh, you want to
my
see my
time is
art?
spent.
Let me show
Yes.
you. Exactly. That's what I say. Because I really have been, lately my art has changed, and maybe for you, it's changed to be like ideal setting is in the metaverse in a virtual world where the colors
Okay.
and
Right.
the aspect ratio, the pixels, like
Yep.
everything is like optimized to like really wow in a digital space. Like, I
Yep.
don't know if that's
I
your vibe
totally get it.
now. Yeah. Like you put,
Well,
yeah.
here's what I see. Like when I am going out and painting, aside from like when I do the small stuff, all right, when I do the small stuff, then I'm not thinking that at all. But at certain sizes, I have been thinking along the lines of what kind of space would I want this to go into, right? And there is a moment where it almost feels like going to the store or going to a gallery and looking for a piece for your home and a certain spot in your house. Now I'm getting that same kind of vibe as to where I would want to put this painting into a space that is created for it. Right? That's what I've been trying to do, especially with the whole blockades labs thing, because it is some a way for me to easily create a world where the painting lives, right? That's something I've always wanted to do. So I agree with you. Like I have a
Yes.
lot of times started doing my art in a way where I thought of it as this needs to be the inspiration for a space, right?
Yes.
And yes, that's kind of where my art has gone with it, but I haven't
Yeah.
been doing the bigger stuff lately.
Oh my
So
God.
for me, it's like I'm itching to get back to it because I have so many ideas for spaces now.
My aha moment was when I discovered that I personally could do skyboxes. And I wanted,
Mm-hmm.
like, my whole vibe is bringing nature's beauty into the digital space. And so
Yep.
the concept of skyboxes as like these spheres that don't necessarily have to go, on the world, but you could like immerse yourself in like 10 well, depending on weight, right? But like you could go into these skyboxes and have these little mini experiences within that bubble. And I was like, I
Right.
can immerse people in my art. Holy crap.
Right.
And
Yes.
you
When I
remember
was,
that? Do you
oh,
remember
you're
that?
right. Yep. Yep. I remember when I was working with Mike, from Polycount from M2, right? And one of the things I wanted to do was I wanted to create skyboxes based on my painting. And then I wanted to just bring them in and blow them up big enough to where you could stand inside of them in different sections of a space, right? So you walk into this area of the building and I can put you on this world because you walk into this skybox inside a dome, right? Inside of a building. And then you go to another room and it's another world. So it was like my paintings realized as, buildings and worlds. So like I can
Yes.
send you the same way. It's some inception stuff. And I'm gonna do it now. Now Blockade has made it so easy for me to feel confident that I can create something that I don't think mirrors my work like exactly, but you can tell it's inspired by my work. And that's cool because it's like that's where
Complimented.
this
Yeah.
like it's another part of the world that's in the painting I do. Only because I do science fiction
Yes.
and fantasy landscapes. So
Yes.
like you're standing here and you're like if like you're Hawaii and I'm Pennsylvania, but we're on Earth, right? So like you go
Hmm.
into the space and the space is Hawaii, but what I painted is Pennsylvania, right? So it's like you're
Yeah.
on the same world, you're just on other sides of it.
I love it. Yeah. So I've just been being in this space, living in this space, and I think Ira could speak to this. you're inspired by your surroundings and by the people that you connect and care about. And so
Yep.
I really think that my art is better because of all of you. I love
Right. It,
it.
it is so true. Like we're seeing stuff and I get all these ideas and realize the elements I wouldn't have thought of, right? But I
Mm,
recognize, how cool they are.
yeah.
It's already given me inspiration for what to paint. Like being in this space from Tokyo is giving me the idea of is I actually haven't done my version of like black sand, right? The idea of having the ground be like that. So cool. Thank you for the inspiration. It's awesome.
Yay. I know. I love it. I love it when creators get together. And this is what it was like back in the day. Like artists had to go to these enclaves to like get what we're
Yep.
getting right in our living rooms, to be able to interact, go to
Yes.
these coffee shops and like their minds spilling over into each other and influencing each other. And I just think it's
Yep.
so amazing that I can do that from my living room. I'm getting a taste of Ira, a taste of Tokyo, a taste of Thai, and I'm like weaving it into like the threads of my artistic tapestry, and I'm just like it's mind
Right.
blowing. And Spatial is a platform in
That's
which I
why I want
choose
to
to do that.
sell. Now we get back to the thing where and I understand like everyone wants to do it. I want to sell this space. Like I want to paint the picture and then create the world it lives in, and then I want to sell both together. So you have that ability to own something digitally in multiple ways, but you're also able to now show off not just the art, right, but the space that also is. It's the collection, right? The collection is the
Yes.
space and
Ugh.
and the art.
And
And then that's what I wanted to do originally.
this is so crazy because this ties into Metaverse Monday's topic of conversation is like we're going back to that very like buzzword phygital, and we're looking
Yes.
at like these physical digital like experiences and how it's grown and really what is possible with it. So we're sitting down with
Yep.
Diner Studio and we're having this conversation like on a like a thicker like a more broad base, to hopefully, like really spark that conversation of what it looks like and what it can look like. So I'm so
Yep.
excited.
The first Friday I did, like folks showed up and hung out and talked for a while and met people from the public. And I actually got messages from I think four people that told me. Three of them were people that I met that came in and saw Spatial on there and said hi to Ira and one woman and who else was there? Was it Altered? I think Altered was there. It might have been Altered. It might have been Meta Mike too. But it was the idea that people remembered the experience of walking into a real studio and looking at a TV and seeing people hang out in Spatial and watch themselves floating in the air and know that they had made that connection with other people. And one of them even said that they joined Spatial, right? So we recruited one person verified by having a phygital experience, right? That's cool. And the more ways that you can introduce people to that, like it's
Yeah.
kind of weird. Here, imagine this.
But
Imagine you
like an
go
awesome
to
weird.
Right, right. Imagine you go to a comic book store,
Mhm.
right? And you go into the comic book store, and there's everybody that's there walking around looking at comics. Generally, it's a solo experience. Unless you came in with some friends, you're not really talking about the comics. But then you see on a wall somewhere there's a television, and in that television, there's people inside that space that are
Mhm.
also looking in a virtual comic book store,
Mm.
or and they can also see people walking around inside. So there's a conversation being had. You can interact with the people on the wall. You could hold up the comic that you're looking at and have a conversation with people about it if you wanted to. But not only that, then you can leave the comic book store and stay in the comic book store because you could just bring Spatial up on your phone, right? And then leave. And so now it's like, oh, I can still continue to hang out at the comic book store, right? That's like the next. So it's you think about the things that people do in those ways,
Yeah.
right? Where do people go and hang out? Record stores. You know what I mean? Like those
Oh,
kinds of things, those
vinyl. Yeah.
experiences. Right. So imagine like including a television on the wall in those spaces. And it just becomes now where like how people, like parents, like look forward to going to a restaurant with a small child and they have the like video game tablet on the table, right?
Tyrone, please,
And they're
I'm
like,
still
oh, thank God,
traumatized.
right? They're like, oh, thank God, I can just hand this to them and I can order food and
Oh my
but
God.
yes, but it's like it's now people look forward to that. Well, it's the same thing. People will be like, oh, this place doesn't have a spatial on the wall. You know what I mean? Like that's where I would love to see things get to. Now, where can that experience live? Like where can it have the best chance of not just participating in general by going in and waving, the obligatory, ooh, look, I'm in the metaverse, to now it's a new way to hang out. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
yeah,
Like that's where you get mass adoption. That's when people go home and put it on their screen, on their television screen, or buy a TV and put it on the wall. And
yeah,
now all of a sudden they can hang out anytime they want.
yeah. I do love that
Window into
idea.
another world.
Yeah,
Yeah, we
I
just have
agree.
to show it being done. It has to be attainable, right? You just have to see it enough times, get people to experience it enough times. And then, yeah, it's just like with the skybox. Like it seems really daunting and complicated at first, but then when Meta Mike and I just like hammered through it, I realized it was like literally 8 steps. And if you do each one, you can go from I have nothing, right, in spatial, to now I've generated the skybox I want and I'm standing in it. And I can send a link to somebody else and they can come stand in it too, right? Literally 10 minutes later.
I love it. Yeah,
So, yeah,
Blockade
and that's
Labs
that's the
really like
equivalent.
wowed me. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, it's the equivalent of switching your background on Zoom. That's it. You know what I mean? Like at a most basic level, you could invite somebody because, you know, I that's all I did was for my space that I had on First Friday was just a quick like throw this environment in from Sketchfab and then throw this skybox in. Now let's hang out and I'll share my screen, right? And then I know I could have done it the next day. Hell, I could have switched the skybox 15 times while we were in there. I had made so many. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
if I wanted to, I could have just kept swapping in a new globe and it would have changed. But now I see, like when you see these experiences that folks are creating, like Tokyo with the runway leading into it, that's all the gravy that you get to put on top of that basic idea. Like, oh, let me give you this really neat way to get into this space, right? You might even find yourself just hanging out there. Like, and then you go into the spot, and then suddenly, all right, and there is ways to start to craft the skybox to match up with things you put in, which is really nice, right? And that people need to be productive quickly. They need to feel as though, that feeling, when you draw something on a napkin and you're like, oh, that looks pretty good. And you're contemplating how you're going to keep that napkin for 100 years because you managed to do something really cool on it. Well, it's that feeling of like, oh, wow, I made that. That's dope. And now I want other people to see it. Now, better yet, I want to have my meeting on Thursday in it.
Love it.
Right. So, breathtaking 3D experiences, 3D spaces. It really is possible. Like I go into these spaces and I keep like saying to myself, there is that moment where I'm like, wow, where you just have to breathe in. She's like, this is really cool. And that happens still a lot. And I do like when I stop in a game that has been really awesome and I look around, that's when I have that. When you're running around hacking and slashing and shooting and firing and jumping and evading and ducking and diving, you don't get that breathtaking moment. You don't. You can peripherally tell you're in a really beautiful looking space, but if the experience isn't allowing you to stop and smell the roses, so you have to build that happy medium. I think that's why the open world game caught on so well. It was the idea that you could stop and smell the roses. That's what you're all doing now. You're all building your sections of an open world. And the bigger it gets, the more you can generate, the more immersive you can make it, and the more spatial will have to grow technically to support it. And I think that's pretty exciting as well too, because there are some things coming that actually we're learning there's a point where you have to balance. like we're actually looking at certain experiences, you want to limit how many people in the space, right? You don't want to have 50 people because you think it'll detract from the experience you're trying to create. Like you can have 100 instances with 10 people in it.
Ooh.
Wouldn't that be cool?
Sort of like a Robloxy thing where you could like have 5, 10, 12 people in an instance.
Yes.
Play the
You
game or
decide.
have the experience. Yeah.
Right. Max participants equals, you know what I mean? Like it's like you
Yeah.
get to that point where you just like, then you can craft an entirely different experience because you know somewhere along the way you're like, oh, well, if 50 people do show up at the same time, what's that going to be like?
Hot
Right?
Mess Express.
That's
Yeah.
right. So
Oh.
I think that that's the next level that has been starting to be realized amongst the team as they've been crafting new stuff with the things we're going to be releasing. You know, we know you could go to 65 to 100 people, but again, the conversation comes up is like, what does that experience really look like, right? Because I mean, for all the billions of dollars spent on video games, I've only ever seen one, which was Planet Side, that actually was able to make it to where there was 2,500 people all fighting a war on this continent, right? And at any given time, you could see 250, 300, 400 people all attacking the same base, right? And then you have to follow another portion of the mission. That was the only time I've ever seen that large of a player base able to not, I mean, it's a war, so it is chaos, but at the same time, you're also able to do things. You could go here and go there, and there might be nobody there, so you don't attack that base. You go where everybody else is. Then you have all these, or you could have this little clandestine mission off to the side with your 5 friends, you know, to try and take out this base, and then call in reinforcements of like 1,000 people, right? That's cool, but that's the only time I've seen. When you look at other games like Fortnite and stuff, there's still a number. That's how many people you get in the instance. You don't want it anymore.
Yeah.
It's chaos.
I heard, now this is rumor because I didn't do it. I heard that when Yuga Labs opened up the other side for like some testing,
Mm-hmm.
that there was like a ridiculous number of people who logged into the servers.
I saw the
Do you
4,000.
remember?
They
Oh,
had,
you
I think it
saw
was
that. Okay, so
4,000
it's
people.
not my brain with tricks.
Here's what they did. Here's how they made it possible to have a game with that many people. So what happens is, imagine you come into a space, even like Tokyo space. Let's make it like 10 times bigger. And now within that space, there are 3 teams. So 3,000 people come in, there's 1,000 people on each team. The blue team, the red team, and the green team, whatever you want to call it. In that space, there are things that have to be performed by X amount of people from each team in order to unlock the next level. So out of the 1,000 blue, 250 have to do this. 250 greens have to do this. Once that many people from each group has completed that, then it unlocks the next level and all 3,000 move to the next level. So there's a lot of balancing in there they didn't show off. Like what happens if you got, 400 people that are AFK or not playing along? Like you got to find the number that makes it possible. Or could it be that hard to where you have to collaborate enough to where you need 900 people on each team to do something? Or you get down to the point where you have to get to the last level, every single person in the space has to complete the task. And if they don't, like for them, it was like going over here and jumping up to this level and pulling this level. Once everyone had done that, then you could progress. I thought it was kind of cool. It's one way to get mass collaboration, but it's also a way to get mass frustration, right? What happens if, you're waiting for the last 5 people and they disconnect? Does it automatically saying through? There's so many things that could go wrong in that model. And if you make it too low of a number of people to participate, to create like the next thing to do, then it's no fun because you're like, what's the point of having 1,000 people if we only need 12 people to do it? You know what I mean? So then it's just running around. So I thought it was pretty neat idea. It's something that we can do in spatial. You can do it yourself right now. You could create a trigger that requires X amount of people to do it before something else happens, but that's a shared experience, right? Now you're talking about a collaborative gaming environment. And right now, the emphasis is on just getting people to create an experience that one person experiences in a million instances, right? And then from there, you can start to look at it like, how do I go to the next level and get to where I can like actually, show off my space to enough people and get them involved in participating and functions that can actually be performed. I think it's fun. I'm curious to see what it looks like. Right now we have individual experiences, and that's the quickest return on growth. Because if not, you got to create one massive multiplayer experience, and MMORPGs take a long time to build and retain people because it requires so much lore, so much content, and it has to be updated frequently. So
Love it.
yeah,
This
go
music,
on and on
Tokyo. I know, Tokyo. This music in this world is lulling me into a false sense of relaxation.
and on.
I have
I
so
haven't
much
gotten to hear
stuff
the
to
music yet.
do. And so I'm like, let me just chill. I'm kind of ready for an adult beverage, but I know I can't.
Oh man, yeah, I know. Remember those days? You need to go to bed. Oh, that's how I was with the kids around. Like, I can't really relax until you're asleep. Yeah, nice. Well, it is Friday, and I'm excited for the weekend. Now it sounds like there's places to go. So I'll be in the studio, so I may do a little fidgetal. If I get into someone's event, they want to give me access to share my screen, I'll gladly share the studio. But it's not like a public thing. It won't be coming. But I can hang out, play some music on the stereo. That's what I love about going to my studio. I have a really kick-ass home. Half of my home theater setup is in there, and I play it really loud. And it is awesome sounding. I could throw a party in my studio. I could throw a party on my floor.
Whoa, whoa, Tyrone, are you inviting us all to your studio for like an old school art rager?
Heck yeah. Not to mention you're surrounded by
Oh,
15 other studios of artists.
oh my God, that'd be so
Such a
fun.
blast.
I'm coming for
Yeah.
NFT NYC again. We should plan a party.
What date is NFT NYC?
I don't know. I have to let
Are
me
you
let
going
me
to speak
ask
at it
the
again?
I'm gonna try. Like, I'm so self-important that I feel like people should hear my voice.
Oh my
She
God,
said
that's
it,
awesome.
folks. She said it.
No, all you had to say is if I'm gonna fly this damn far, I'm gonna say something.
I'm gonna say some stuff, whether you like it or not. It's gonna come out of my face, and you're gonna listen.
Right. Do you know how far I came to get here?
So
Yeah,
far.
you win by default.
Only, yeah.
Literally.
Any further, and you'd be heading back.
Wouldn't it be like Japan? It's about as far as you could get, because then probably from China to New York is shorter distance than from Japan to New
Possibly.
York.
Yeah, that's a possibility. I'm not really sure.
Right.
But
Where's that halfway point? Middle of the Pacific.
yeah, somewhere out there. Nah, but yeah, I
Nice.
put in my speaker application. Oh, artists, if you want to submit your art, do it now. Artist submissions are open, and it gets filled up really fast. So if you're wanting to
I
submit
got a
your
question
art,
for you, Cece.
yeah, what's up?
All right. What's the farthest you've ever gone out into the Pacific?
You mean like in a boat?
Yep. The farthest you've ever gone out.
Okay. It was I want to say it was a 36 foot. Oh wait, no. Okay. So in college, I can't believe I'm going to tell you guys this. Is this space is not recorded. So in
My
college,
questions are dope.
in college, I used to, for fun, race sailboats, so sailing yachts.
Okay.
and I was on a team on a boat. It was about like a 64-foot sailboat. It was called the Meltemi,
Okay.
and we raced. Basically, we went from Oahu, we raced
Hmm.
to Maui, and then we raced around Maui and then back to Oahu. So honestly, that leg of the journey from Maui to
Yeah.
Oahu on the outer skirts of the island, sort of like in the
Yeah.
exposed out ocean, is probably the farthest that I've ever traveled,
Okay.
like in a
So the
boat.
furthest from shore you've ever gotten
I would say
would be about 100 miles,
like
60.
I between like 10 and 15 miles, I guess you could say.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
ish.
Enough that you couldn't see the land anymore?
No, I never lost sight of land. We always had eye
See,
on the
I
land.
haven't gotten there either. I shouldn't, like, I've
Yeah.
never gotten to the point where I've lost sight of land.
And this
And
was,
I have to admit,
yeah.
that's something.
And I was not protected. I was out in the elements. I was pulling lines, so my job was to trim the sail.
Yeah.
And so I spent like 18 hours um, drinking beer and yanking on rope. So that was.
How, ugh. I
Oh,
have
and
no
oh,
sea
have you
legs,
ever
Cece.
peed
None.
off the back of a boat? Yeah,
Yo, I got so
that's
sick I
hard.
peed my pants on a boat.
Yes, that's always a good time. That's a good story.
Ugh, I have zero. I
Things
have
we've done on
I have
boats.
zero sea legs whatsoever. I can't handle it. I went out. I went fishing for Jersey. It was one of the things where a friend is like, "Hey, we're gonna go down here. You pay this much. You get on the boat to take you out, and you go deep sea fishing, and maybe you get lucky and catch a shark." They said, right? And I was like,
Wow.
"All right, cool." I've been on boats before, always moving, or I was on a lake, right?
Oh,
Most of my
yeah.
experiences on the water were in lakes. So
Yeah.
I get out there, you get to the point where we're way out. We must
Oh,
have
and you're
went
just
out good
bobbing.
45 minutes.
Oh, and you're just
Right.
bobbing around.
45 minutes on the engine going out. I'm like, oh, this is cool. This is cool. And then we
No.
just stopped.
Yeah.
And then once we stopped and we were just going, I spent
Blech.
the next 4 hours laying
Blech.
down inside.
Oh yeah, you made a mistake. You need to be out in the fresh air.
Yep.
So yeah, even me, like
Hmm.
I never get seasick, but if I am just like bobbing around on the ocean,
Yeah.
I get nauseous. And I don't
Ugh.
even believe
We're gonna
seasick
stop
is an
talking about it now. I just thought of it and I just
Sorry.
felt it.
All right.
We're
Yeah,
totally gonna stop now.
don't ask me boat questions anymore.
Oh,
I'm not telling you
oh,
anymore. What happens on
god
Meltemi
damn.
stays on Meltemi.
Wow. I have to say to myself, if you ever like need to throw up on cue, I know what to think of.
For those
Okay,
acting
so
chops, the metaverse acting.
right. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
My
All
my
right, I
friend
need you. Ready, set, action.
Tyron, my friend in Maui, he's a marine biologist, and they
Hmm.
explore whales and they study whales. I took a boat in Maui, going really deep to listen to the whales. They have
Yeah.
special equipment, and that was a very unique experience because we went on a breeding season, so they were really
Right.
active at that moment.
Nice. How close did you get to one?
Was that?
How close did you get to one?
Oh, they were jumping over our boat.
What?
Yes, I have pictures. I have pictures and videos. We were on a
That's
small
crazy.
boat. We got out. What's that noise?
Sorry, I was feeding my dog.
Oh, okay. Yeah, we went on a big boat, and then we went on a small boat because we have a small boat with us. So we jumped on a small boat, and we were just waiting for them, and they were approaching us. Three whales were approaching the boat from the front, and they jumped over.
Okay.
Not over the boat, but they jumped over
They jumped high enough that their shadow went
high.
over you.
Yes, they went high, almost like to the point when I was thinking like we're going to go overboard.
We're
But what
toast.
they but what no but what they did is I actually froze in that moment. I froze. I did not know. I just
Right.
kind of put myself in that situation, like whatever happens, who cares? So
Right.
they
Right.
went right in front of us. I took a picture of them, and then they boom, they went under the water, and they went under the boat, and they went the other side. So it was really a cool experience. Yeah, I
That
wish.
sounds really cool. Like, yeah, I've never experienced anything like that. Everything for me was land, animals, right? And I think about that as well too. Something we haven't seen in spatial yet a lot yet is wildlife, right? The idea of having things just roaming or wandering through the spaces. I know that that will come soon. Someone is going to do it, right? Where we get to that point where we talk about things being on a preset path, even if it's a track, where you feel as though like that deer is going to walk by, or it's on some kind of, having some sort of AI pattern to it where it does certain things and it just does it when it does it. That would be really cool, right? You look at an NPC and people immediately think it has to have two legs and two arms, and that's not the case. You could be anything could be an NPC.
So look, Tyrone,
Um,
this is the plan for the next year. This is what in Maui is going to happen. They are going to. So my friend is a pro surfer.
mhm.
Yeah. They're going to do. He's older now, 60 years old, and what he's going to do. He's going to team up with two more people and swim around the whole Maui in a certain amount of day, and it's going to be documented, and it's going to be like a world record
Holy crap!
without any kind of like. So they're going to stop maybe at some stops, but swim around the whole island. And they were planning
Wow.
to do this next year. They asked me to build something for them, like to stream here in Spatial.
Yeah,
But they're going to do that in the next year. It's going to be an awesome experience. Summer next year. And it's going to be a very big event also for Maui.
I bet. That's awesome. Like that's something to see. Yeah. God, when I think of like events, things that I've done that I would love to see kind of recreated virtually, like jungle environment. A large percentage of my traveling that I did up until I was like 25, I think, was in areas where I would be going in the jungle, and I could go in. Like I've gone the like the same way I asked you, CC, what's the furthest you've ever been away from shore, right? The deepest I've ever gone into the Amazon was 75 miles. And that was the moment when I guess it would have felt just as similar as if someone plunked me in the middle of the Pacific Ocean. You know what I mean? Like where you just realize, holy crap, getting back to anywhere safe, to civilization, is like not something I think I could do right now. Completely at the mercy of my guides, and one of which was a family member. So it was like I like running into Amerindians and knowing that if they didn't like us, we were gonna be in trouble, and no one would ever fight us. So it's seeing snakes and things where I had to constantly be warned to watch out for stuff. To have that moment where you walk through some really tall grass and someone tells you to watch out for the bushmaster. You're like, what the hell's that?
Mhm.
And then they show you because they cut down something right by you, and a big snake thuds on the ground and slithers away, and you're like, and then someone, and then my uncle told